Hey, welcome back to TwoSun Tuesday. Got another one for you here. This one's kind of new and kind of not. This is TS381. And, yep, as they have released up to, what, like 393 or something like that so far, but they've been backfilling. So this has been out for a little while. But hey, I figured I should get around to it. As you can see here, we got basically blacking all over the blade, as well as the titanium handle scales here. It says Tepe Design. It's an M390. I have number 4. I jumped on this one pretty early. Yes. So this one is pretty interesting for a lot of the things that are just a little bit different about it. This thing is very thin. It's 0.44 of an inch. I don't remember exactly what that is in metric. Let's see. I could probably have this thing tell me. Well, I can easily just do that. There we go. Basically 11.25 millimeters. So yeah, fairly thin. Definitely thinner than PM2 here. Which, hooray for that. This thing has, near as makes no difference, 3.5-inch blade from basically the round area up there to the tip. And I would definitely appreciate kind of a longer, kind of thinner knife. For a lot of EDC tasks, it's actually a pretty good thing. At least I think so. And just narrowly beating it out, we have 3.5 ounces for the handle, or 99 grams. So this, just by a gram or two, essentially missed that ounce and inch mark. But hey, what are you going to do? You could probably sharpen it once or twice and it would hit that. If that is something that you actually care about, which, I don't know, I guess only people looking for very, very thin and light knives probably do. However, this thing has very, very thick blade stock on it. We can see that it's fully crowned on the top, which is interesting, but that does kind of make it look a little thinner than it is. This is a 4.05 millimeter thick blade stock. Or at least it's probably 4 millimeter blade stock, and we also have the coating on top of that pushed it right over that line there. Let's see, I can go ahead and do some of these. I got a Benchmade 940 here. Sure, why not? We got the rat number 1. Let's go with the Spyderco PM2. Why not? We got the K-Bar Dozier Folding Hunter because it's in front of me and a little bit smaller there. Yeah. So yeah, you get a lot of knife for the space that this thing ends up taking up. And obviously that 0.44 inch includes basically the swell here, so it's even thinner on the inside, or basically on the sides here. Because of that, we don't really have much in the way of milling going on this side. Hey, that's perfectly fine with me. It's nice and thin anyway. It's got a finger choil here. You know, if you got maybe normal size fingers, this might be good for you. Definitely too small for me. Looks like I got a little bit of a roll on the back here. I need to fix that. Yeah, we have a flipper tab here, which if you really get up to close there, you can see a couple of jump marks, but because this is all crowned after the fact, yeah, I don't have any problems actually getting the flipper tab to work, but I kind of don't think those jumps were necessarily needed there. But hey, what are you going to do? And you also have this little blade cut out here. Since this is a Framelock, doing the thumb rollout, even if you completely get off of the lockbar, not really going to happen so much, at least not for me. But yeah, you can, when you're not under the camera, you can easily Spidey flick this guy out. We got a nice, basically full flat grind going on here. Comes down to a nice thin edge. I appreciate that a lot. And the pocket clip here is doing pretty good. It's you know, definitely out there at the end. Kind of angled this way instead of just mounting it under this particular Chicago screw here. But the clip works out pretty well. It does press just a little tiny bit on the lock bar. That has no problems with me doing any of the closing there, but it might probably exacerbate just a little bit trying to do a thumb roll open with it. Hey. So there is one thing that kind of drives me crazy on this, and it's something that I have heard is not just local to my particular one. And I think it's essentially a fit and finish thing, and I do plan to kind of fix that here. But yeah, here we go. It's got a fairly early lock bar kind of thing going on there. Maybe 20% or something like that. That's pretty good. But if you grip the knife fairly tightly, or you accidentally go, oops, then yeah, you can accidentally slide that thing all the way over. And that, I don't like that at all. That reminds me of really shitty gas station knives, like a super knife or some Fury stuff or something like that. Obviously, this is a lot stronger, and that only really happens if you're adding a whole bunch of stresses to it. But essentially, what I'm seeing is, well, right above this stop pin here, this is the only area that's being used for the lock there, and it's fairly small. That's fine, as long as it actually locks up nice. But you can see it's pretty nice and polished, and I think that probably has something to do there. Between that and the steel lock bar insert, I think I could probably rough those up just a little bit with some sort of sandpaper or sharpening stone or something like that. Just a little tiny bit, and that will probably add a little bit more grip to it. Definitely don't want to do anything way too aggressive, like say this 220 grit or something, because that will end up just creating and or exacerbating lock stick if you have it. So, you know, that's kind of a careful balance. But, yeah, it just feels a little too slippery. So I do want to add a little bit more grip to it. But, yes, like I said, this was not the only particular instance of this model that I've heard having this problem. So I'm guessing it's basically the belt that they were using to finish and put those things on, or the lock bar interface there was either really worn down or not quite the grit that they wanted or something like that. So it ended up being just a bit too smooth. Not quite sure. You know, obviously I'm not really in manufacturing, but I can only assume. And this thing does have a little bit of a snaggletooth going on here. I haven't fixed it on here, but it does taper down very quickly, so it's just up here, but yeah, it's definitely there. So if that's something that does annoy you, kind of like me, then you know, you may want to end up skipping this one, or you know, basically do what I'll end up doing on this and grinding up on that to remove that. However, that does make it just a little bit thicker behind the edge. In this case, since it's just this area here, and hey, conveniently, it's the area where I have a rolled edge, so I won't have to fix that until I have to sharpen the whole darn thing after I grind that out. But yes, okay, so as far as you know, one of those really lightweight EDC kind of things, this has a whole lot going for it. I really do appreciate the full crowning of the spine here. We don't see that on too many TwoSuns, but this isn't the first one. But yeah, it's very, very nice and thin, very lightweight. And yeah, you have a couple of different opening options for it. I appreciate that. I did mention the pocket clip a little bit earlier, how it does interface just a little bit with the lock bar there, but it works out pretty well. It's got a decent amount of spring to it, and it doesn't have just a singular point. It's got a bit of a ramp going on to it. Very easy to get out in and out of the pocket. So, yeah, this being basically right at 10 minutes from what my camera is showing me. This is basically the overview and everything that I wanted to talk about with this guy here. I did mention, yes, this thing is very nice and slicey behind the edge there, so that's great. But it does take quite a bit to get there since this is a 4mm blade stock. But, all right. So, for y'all who just came by kind of interested in some of the measurements and my thoughts and opinions and comparisons and all that sort of stuff, taking care of that. If you want to stick around, I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. We can take a look on the inside real quick. But, yep, for everybody else, I appreciate y'all for watching. So, here we go on the inside. We got basically T8s all around here. And since this pocket clip is screwed basically directly into the titanium here, I won't actually have to remove it. But hey, this one has 2 for the back spacer and 1 for the pivot, so this is a little complicated compared to a lot of them that have come out recently. But yes, so on the inside here, we can see we do have internal lockbar milling, which is interesting to me. They did have to kind of do this in 2 different steps here because they have a little bit more thickness there. It actually adds quite a bit of strength and rigidity there to do that. We got the steel lock bar with the over travel stop there. And yeah, this seems to have a decent amount of texture on it. So it does seem to be just basically the blade tang there that's probably just a little too smooth and a little too short, I guess, for the amount of surface area to create that nice grabby tension there. But yeah, basically this is just another kind of a plain looking guy on the inside here. We got the lock bar piece there, or not the lock bar, but the back spacer piece there with a decently long little lanyard thing there. It's not at the end though, so you would, if you do lanyard sort of things, it will kind of hang out a bit further down there than a pocket clip would might suggest that you're going to get there. But yeah, it's all right. For me and most others these days, the lanyard hole really doesn't matter because we don't use them. But yeah, for those who do. So lock pin is, or stop pin, jeez. I'm just screwing up terminology all over the place here, aren't I? It's a little pain in the butt to deal with because it nestles inside there. But that's perfectly fine. Should get right in there. It did not quite get in there. That happens from time to time. That feels more correcter. So if you aren't being super clumsy like I am at the moment, then yeah, this thing is just as easy to take apart and put back together just like all the rest. Yep, I can back off on that pivot tension just a touch. No blade play. Yeah, nice. And I do think it's probably because we have such a thick blade stock on this guy in particular that it has a decent drop to it, even though it does have a coating on the blade here. Kind of why, or at least one of the reasons why I think a lot of TwoSuns have a thicker blade stock than some other brands do. But I don't know, that's just kind of a speculation. But, alright, yeah, this is all I wanted to cover here with TS381. It's an interesting design, but might need to do just a little tiny bit of work to make sure your lockup doesn't end up creeping over on you if you grip this thing pretty tight. But, alright, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.